Milan. For example 3, I'm just gonna run through it. It's us preparing debtors journal and debtors allowances journal. Okay. Now, what you need to know is, are we buying on credit or are customers returning goods to us? It starts by saying that Very Store sells for cash and on credit. And I highlighted the fact that our month starts on the 1st of April 2021. The balances of two debtors. So we only have two debtors, which is Bisco Sana as well as Kaylee. You already know what to do with those two. And that will be the same balance that you have in your debtors control. So quickly take it to your general ledger under debtors control. So you will add the two balances, okay? So what is 500 plus 400? It will give you 900, which will be the balance at the beginning of the month, and that is 900. And each debtor's balance will be taken to the debtor's ledger. I will start with the first debtor, which is Bisco Sana. So I'll have the day, which is 01, balance brought down, and the balance that Bisco Sana is owing us is 500. And Kaylee will be owing us 400 Rand. We will write it as balance brought down as well. Okay, let's start with the first transaction. It says that we sold merchandise on credit to Kaylee for 828, but it was marked up at 20% on cost. Now note that this transaction will be recorded in the debtor's journal, which is the DJ. But we are missing one thing. We are missing the cost price. How do we calculate the cost price here? Let's start with easy things first. We'll start with the invoice number. We'll go to the debtor's journal. We'll start with the invoice number, which is BQ12. You can come up with any number if you're not given any invoice numbers. The day was the 3rd. The data was Kaylee. Sales price will be 828. What's missing is the cost price. How do we calculate the cost price? I'm going to go back to it. They said the markup is 20% on cost. So how do I calculate the cost price here? I will simply take that 828 times it by the cost price, because I want cost price. I'll just say CP, which stands for the cost price, is equals to 828 times 100 divided by 120. If you're wondering what's going on there, please watch the previous videos where I explained how to calculate their cost price. And when you do that calculation, it will give you 690. That transaction will go straight to the debtor's ledger of Kaylee. Remember, Kaylee is already owing us 400. We will have the 5th invoice BQ12. It comes from the debtor's journal. Obviously, she bought or he bought, therefore it will be on the debit side at selling price. The balance will now move from 400. You add it with 828. Our new balance will be 1,228. Done with it. Let's get to the next one. Kaylee complained about the quality of some of the goods supplied to him on the 5th. A credit note C12-472 was sent to him for the goods returned. That goes to debtors allowances. So they gave us 72 as the selling price. they didn't give us the cost price or even the method for calculating the cost price, but this here gives it away. Because on the 3rd, we use the markup of 20%. So we know that this will go to DAJ. I will have C12, day will be the 7th. Data is Kaylee. Folio will be DL. It's 72. So how do we get the cost price? To get this cost price here, I'm going to take the 72 times it by 100, divided by 120. And that'll give me 60 rand. Okay. On the 12th, it said we sent invoice BQ13 to Bisco Sana for goods which he bought on credit from various stores for 1,755. Goods are marked up at 30%. Obviously, that will go to DJ because we are selling goods on credit. When we record it in the DJ, what are we going to do? We will have BQ13. It happened on the 12th. Bisco Sana. And we have 1755. To get the cost price, I will take 1755 times it by 100 and divide it by 130. If you're wondering how I got that 130, it is just 100 plus the markup. And in this case, the markup was 30%. So that is why I'm going to take 100, add it with 30%. That's how I got the 130. The cost price will be 1,350. This will go straight to the debtors ledger of Bisco Sana. We will have the day will be the 12th, invoice will be BQ13. This comes from the debtors journal. It is 1755. You add it with 500. It'll give you a new balance. The new balance will be 2,255. I actually forgot to record the previous transaction. I'm going to record it quickly, which relates to the return of goods by Kaylee. So we'll have 07. It was credit note C12. It comes from DAJ. It'll be recorded on the credit side because it reduces what Kaylee is owing us by 72. Remember, what comes in the debtors ledger will always be at selling price. So you will simply take this 1,228. You minus the 72. It'll give you the new balance, which is 1,156. Okay. On the 15th, it says Bisco Sana complained that he was overcharged by 80 Rand on invoice BQ13, which is this one here. But the overcharge will not result in cost of sales. So that one, we know that it goes to DAJ. But you must be happy because it doesn't have cost of sales. In the DAJ, you will have C13. The date will be the 12th. It's Bisco Sana. Selling price was 80 Rand, which is under debtors allowances. And under cost of sales, you'll have 0. Then we're going to take it to the debtors ledger of Bisco Sana. we will have the 15 is credit note C13, DAJ, it will be on which side? Debit or credit? On the credit side. How do we get a new balance now? It is 2,255. You minus the 80 rand, it will give you a new balance, which will be 2,175. Done. Let's go back to the question again. It says that we supplied merchandise to Biscosana for 2,700, and they gave us the cost code, which is HWRR/RR. And then they said a cash slip for 1/3 of the amount was issued to him. A credit invoice BQ14 for the remainder was issued. And then they gave us the cost code, which is white sugar. So I will start with the cost code and assigned a number to each letter. We know that if W is 1, then H will be 2, up to 9, and R will be 0. WUHRR will be 2,100. Okay, but we know that 2/3 of that will be on credit, as 1/3 will be for cash. What I'm going to do, the cash part will be recorded in the CRJ. I'll have CRT1, day will be the 26th, and the details, you can write sales or you can write the person that we sold the goods to, and that person was Biscosana, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, it was Biscosana. You can write Biscosana there. Under analysis of receipts, it will be 900. If a receipt is issued, you need to record the amount under analysis of receipts. If it was a direct deposit or payment by EFT, obviously that will go straight under bank. You don't need to have analysis of receipts. Under bank, we will have 900. Under sales, we will have 900. Whenever sales are affected, please note that you need to write the cost price of those goods under cost of sales. So we know that the total cost price of all goods was 2,100. Only 1/3 of the cost price will come to CRJ. And how much is 1/3 of 2,121 divided by 3? That will be 700. So under cost of sales, you'll have 700. This doesn't affect debtors ledger because it's not a credit sale. The part that is worrying will be the credit part, which is 2/3. I'm going to start by taking 2,700 multiplied by 2/3. The amount that I get there will be recorded in my debtors journal. So I'll have BQ14, 24, Biscosana. 2/3 of that will be 1,800. So that 1,800 is simply 2,700 times 2/3. If 1/3 goes to, it was a cash transaction, then 2/3 will be a credit sale transaction. Note that now it's complete. 2 went to debtors journal, 1 went to receipts. When you add the 2, it'll give you 3 out of 3. Okay. This is for selling. For the cost price, we are going to do the same thing. We know that we were given the cost code and we determined that the cost price for all the goods was 2,100. You're going to multiply this by 2/3. It'll give you a cost price that you're going to write over there. And the cost price will be 1,400. Secondly, whenever it goes to DJ, it also affects your debtors ledger. In this case, it affects the debtors ledger of Biscosana. We will have 24. Invoice will be BQ14. it is DJ, it will be recorded on the debit side, which is 1,800. 1,800, you're going to add it with the 2,175. It will give you a new balance, and new balance will be 3,975. Okay, remember that it goes up on the debit side whenever a debtor buys on credit. It goes down on the credit side whenever a debtor pays us back or returns goods. And whatever comes to the debtor's ledger, I repeat, must always be at SP. Whatever you bring here must always be at SP. SP stands for the selling price. Let's go back to the question. On the 28th, we issued invoice to Kaylee together with merchandise worth 1,160, but we didn't have the cost price. Instead, they gave us the cost code. So we need to break it down. Black horse, they said B is 0, so B will be 0, L will be 1 up to 9. Okay? So if the cost code is LBB, L is 1, B is 0, 0, 0, dot 0, 0. So the cost price here will be 1,000. Because we issued the invoice to Kaylee for merchandise that Kaylee bought on credit, that will be recorded in the debtors journal. We will have BQ 15, Kaylee, selling price is 1,160, the cost price will be 1,000, and then you just get the total, which was 5,543. Okay, then you can put the DLs, because we already know that DL1, debtors ledger 1 is Kosana, and debtors ledger 2 will be Kaylee. And then I'll just show you calculations at the bottom of how I got all the costs. Okay. This will affect the debtors ledger of Kaylee. It'll go up obviously because Kaylee bought on credit. DJ will be on the debit side, increasing the balance from 1,156 to a new balance, which will be, so when you take 1,156 plus 1,160, it'll give you 2,360. Okay. Let's go to the last transaction. This will go to DJ. The last transaction is about goods that were sent back by Kaylee because they were not ordered as per the invoice 15. So it's these goods here. And then we know the cost code there is Black Horse. So L will be 1, S will be 8, B will be 0, 0, 0. That will be the cost price. These goods will be recorded in the debtors allowances journal. We will have C14, 29th, Kaylee, and under selling price we'll have 240, and the cost of sales will have 180, and just total it, cast it, and that's what you will get. But that also affects the debtors ledger of Kaylee. It'll be 29, credit note C14, DAJ. Credit will be 240, which is the selling price of goods that were returned. The previous balance, you minus the 240, and then they will give you a new balance. So 2,316 minus 240, it'll give you 2,076. Highlighted. This amount here together with this amount will go to the debtors list. Biscosana, it is 3,975. Kaylee, it'll be 2,076. The total will be 6,051. Please check out the next video for the general ledger.